Hey guys, welcome to another design team video for Infinity Engravings. We are teaming up with Sasayaki Glitter, which is a digital stamp company based in Australia. We're going to combine our die cuts with their images and create something hopefully fun and creative and new, dynamic, something for you to kind of sink your teeth into. So what I have here is I've started on some Crafter's Companion Spectrum Noir cardstock because it's suitable for alcohol markers, and I'm using Copics. And then this image is from Sasayaki Glitter. So I downloaded it, cut it out, or sized it in Word, and then printed it on my paper. Ran it through my die cut machine using Avery L's Wonky Stitches frame die, and then I'm coloring the image in with Copics. So I'm going to put some music on so you can listen to some music, watch the Copic coloring. I do my best to show you all the colors that I'm using, but I will have all of them in a detailed list in the description box underneath the video. And also on the Infinity Engravings blog, it'll all be there too. So I'll leave you with some music and I'll be back when we're finished. So when we're done doing the coloring, I went ahead and I wanted to use a stencil, so I needed a mask. So I made a black and white copy of this in my copier, and out of some copy paper and Tombow monomulti, cut it out with my scissors and pasted it to the top. Now the Tombow, if you let it dry, it becomes repositionable adhesive. So that's how you can do that. And the stencil I'm using is Simon Says Stamp Mosaic Stars stencil. And so I taped that down using some delicate tape, painter's tape or yellow painter's tape, just to make it easier. I wanted to hold the stencil in place so it didn't move or shift, and it's easy to pick back up when I'm done. So the glitter paste I'm using is by Bo Bunny. It's called Sugar because it's clear. And I'm going to go in with some color burst. Alizarin Crimson and Violet are the two colors. So I spread my glitter paste over my stencil using a palette knife. And then you're going to take your color burst and try to add it very sparingly and lightly, because the color burst is a dry pigment powder, so it's going to bloom wherever it comes in contact with moisture. Now in a watercolor setting, you want it to kind of blend with the colors around it to a certain extent. And with this one, I wanted them to slightly blend, but I still wanted the colors to be super visible. So I wanted there to be distinct red pockets and distinct purple pockets. So I try to do this very sparingly. And you don't want to waste product unnecessarily either. So I added the color burst on top and then into my palette knife, and in one direction I'm going to smooth it over and then wipe it off because I don't want the colors to mix too much. So I carefully pull that off, and then you have the stenciled design. And while the paste is still wet, you're going to want to take off the mask. Now this isn't difficult, but you need to be careful so you don't smudge or mess up the stenciled design. And if you leave it to dry on there, the stencil, or the mask will not come off, because the paste is almost like a liquid plastic, if you will. So when it dries, it becomes a firm, like plasticky texture, and it's not going to release the mask. So that's why it's important to remove it when it's wet. Now if you do get any leftover Tombow on the image, just wait until the paste is completely dry, and you can go in with an adhesive pickup eraser and pick up any little bits of adhesive, and it should come right off. It won't damage your image at all. So next I'm going to go in with some Wilted Violet Distress ink, and I'm going to add that all around the panel, leaving some light spots here and there, mostly focused towards the middle of the panel. And you do want to keep some light spots so that you keep contrast and you keep highlights. And then around the edges, I'm going to use Dusty Concord, again, to add contrast, add some darkness just to the edges, and really enhance the light spots and give it some good contrast. And I chose these colors because I wanted to give this almost like a rocker chick kind of vibe. It is a Halloween card, but I'm not a big fan of spooky or scary, fear-driven things. So I wanted to give this a little bit of a lighter feel. And so I went with the glittery stars and the bright colors to kind of give it a little more life. So my ghost here is a die cut from Infinity Engravings, and I covered him with 2 layers of Lindy's Stamp Gang Angel Peacock embossing powder. And this is a pearly white powder with a teal pinkish shift in it. So depending on how the light's hitting it, you're going to see different colors. And I'm putting some scrapbook adhesives, 3D foam squares on the back of him. And I wanted to use him coming up out of those skulls to, again, give it a little bit more whimsy, a little bit more cute, and kind of disguise the fear that the skulls bring up. So I add him on top of the skulls. I think he's just adorable. I love him. And next, I will mount the front panel to a black card base, just using some score tape. Now this is my adhesive of choice. It's super sticky, super strong, and you can tear it with your fingers. So for the sentiment, I used 2 dies from Simon Says Stamp. The Halloween die is from a Halloween stamp set, and the Happy is from Oh Happy Day die. And I will link to both of those in case you're wondering in the description box. I'm going to adhere those using tiny little dots of Tombow Mono Multi Glue. So add a bunch of dots to the back of that and then weight them down using some acrylic blocks. And this glue dries fairly quickly, a couple minutes tops. So I just set that aside for a few minutes and do something else while that's drying. And that pretty much finishes up our card. So I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for stopping by. Check out the Infinity Engraving blog. We're going to have lots of different projects on there upcoming with the design team. Lots of interesting stuff, new techniques, things like that. And also check out Sasayaki Glitter's website. I'm going to have that linked in the description box as well, just in case you're interested in seeing what they have to offer. And we will catch you next time. So thanks for joining me today, guys. We will see you later. Have a great day. Bye-bye.